So hello everyone and welcome here to the Netherlands for the second round of the 2013 NASA RallyCross Challenge season. It's the Dutch RallyCross Grand Prix from Valkenswaard. So it's Josh Mertz up in the commentary box bringing you the call for the Automotive Sports Network today as we have 14 cars. We're getting right into it today. 14 cars. We're going to have 4 heats for 4 laps apiece. The top 2 in each heat will advance to the final. Others move to the LCQ. You have to take the Joker once in the heats, once in the LCQ, and twice in the final. The LCQ drivers will have 3 laps to battle it out. The top 2 advance to the final race, and the rest are awarded points. You have to take the Joker once, and the final is 10 drivers, 8 laps, and the Joker is twice. Let's show you real quick. That is the Joker. You see that little dirt path a little bit farther from the regular course, so the drivers have to take that once. ASN social media, facebook.com/Automotive Sports Network, twitter.com/ASNTV_USA, hashtag ASNTVUSA for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+, youtube.com/ASNTVUSA, twitch.tv/ASNTVUSA, ASNTV.US, and for any broadcast inquiries, comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, you can email us at any time at asntvUSA@gmail.com. This broadcast is brought to you by JavaShot Designs. If you need any painting done for any of your racing interests, you can contact Adam Sweet at his page at facebook.com/JavaShotDesigns or check his webpage out at javashotdesigns.com. You wonder why I went through that so quickly? It's because nobody watches it anyway, but we figure here at ASN we will let everyone know. So, heat number 1 of 4 that we have here today, and it's going to be a relatively interesting one, as we have Luke Fleming, Tristan Hagenstein, and João Paulo, if I pronounced his name correctly. We have the 2 Brazilians that did not arrive to Croft, but we have them here, because we got to get a few satellite issues sorted out for one moment here. Satellite issue should be fixed now. Anyway, on pole will be Fleming in the Junior Citroen, and then João Paulo and Tristan Hagenstein. We had a 4th car for this heat. I believe it was supposed to be Tanner Smith, but Smith had showed no intention of arriving to the circuit. So nonetheless, we're revving up for heat 1, and it's lights out. Away we go. Off the line, Hagenstein, the Dutch driver, the home driver, gets a good jump. Fleming is going to counter him into corner number 1, and it's going to be Hagenstein as Fleming thought better of it. So Hagenstein runs it wide. Fleming tries to take the fight to him, and he takes the lead out of corner number 1. And going into corner number 2 and into the dirt will be Luke Fleming leading for Citroen Junior, followed by Hagenstein and followed by João Paulo in the Puma Subaru team car. So Hagenstein ran it a little bit wide there as he's trying to get the ground back. This is his home race for the Team Klondike driver, and he wants to impress his home fans, but in second in the heat really isn't impressing them very well, or very much, you could say. So at the end of lap number 1, it's going to be Luke Fleming who has snuck out to an early lead, as Tristan Hagenstein really driving the wheels off the car, trying to catch him. As Fleming through the chicane, they have to take the chicane on every other lap aside from the initial start, as Hagenstein, according to the lap times, he was 2 seconds slower than Tristan Hagenstein. We have our fancy graphic there. You can't really see it because our graphic guys didn't rearrange the graphics on the screen. But Fleming 47.6, Hagenstein 49.4, and Paulo a 50.7. So it looked like Fleming went to the Joker, so he has that out of the way. That's the faster lap. It's about, depending on how you do it, it could be either a couple tenths or it could be a full second, depending on how you enter and exit through there. So at the end of lap 2, Fleming will lead for Citroen Junior, and this heat really is processional. He got the jump off the line. Fleming was challenging him into turn 1, backed off, and he took the lead through turn number 2, and Luke Fleming, the American for Citroen Junior, as this team actually bettered their point total from the entire season last season in one race last week at Croft. They are currently, if I look at my notes here, VW will be moved to semi-works after this race because Tanner Smith is not here, I should say. So they are not running by themselves in semi-works anymore. They have Volkswagen themselves and the Delicia race team, which the 2 Brazilians, Paulo and Speed, race on. White flag for Fleming in heat number 1. And it looks like João Paulo still getting used to that Subaru of his. He did an extensive testing program, him and his teammate, at the Foz do Iguaçu Rallycross circuit they created for X Games. They did an extensive testing program to get these two drivers ready. And for the first couple laps in a race situation, he's not doing that bad. So Luke Fleming, for the Citroen Junior team, will go into the final couple of corners here. You have to stay on the dirt there, but as soon as it changes to asphalt, you can run as wide as you'd like. There's so many racing lines through these final couple of corners, but it doesn't matter, as Luke Fleming is your victor in heat number 1 here in Valkenswaard. Let's see if he'll do celebratory burnouts. Maybe. It looks as though he will, as Fleming wins, and Hagenstein is second. And no, Fleming pulls it into the pit lane. Actually, he runs into the pit wall. So a respectable race for Yao Paulo as he drives the car into the wall. The Subaru team will have to fix that up. But a respectable run, as now heat number 2 will be getting ready to go. So the Heat 2 drivers were already almost to the grid as Heat number 1 finished up. We're going to have 3 cars in this heat as Douglas Speed and the other Delicia Race Team Subaru alongside. How do you think this would be for your first race? The triple defending World Drivers Champion is right next to you, Dylan Livingood, and then Nick Cars, who took a provisional last week. He is here as well as the Mangled Metal Motorsports team, or Mangled Lemons Racing team. They changed their manufacturer, so they are now the works team for Ford, as Subaru never shipped them any parts or any cars or anything. So Mangled Lemons Racing, now the Ford works team. They're going to try and take the fight to Revolution and Citroen the best they can as we are getting ready for heat number 2. As Douglas Speed from Brazil, his teammate Yao Paulo finished third in his heat. So these first 2 heats are 3 cars. I'm not sure who's supposed to be in this heat with them. I don't believe there's a 4th car. I believe seating was randomized, and this was the heat that came out to only have 3 cars, as Tanner Smith was supposed to be in that heat. I don't even think he gets a provisional for this race, as there was no notice at all that car number 13 would not make it to the race. So I'm going to have some explaining to do to possibly try and stay at work status, although I don't think it's going to happen for the Volkswagen team, who is your defending semi-works champions. So we rev him up for heat 2, and it's lights out, away we go, and off the line, the whole shot goes to Livingood. Side by side will be Speed and Cars, and Speed takes the 2nd spot. So Douglas Speed, holding 2nd place, runs it wide in turn 1. Nick Cars sneaks through. So Livingood pulling away now from Nick Cars. So another 4-lap heat for these drivers. Top 2 will get through. As Nick Cars, Douglas Speed, contact! You can tell Speed is a lot more aggressive than his teammate, as there was contact bouncing off the wall, and the Joker goes Livingood, Cars, and Speed. So the Joker taken care of for all 3 drivers. As this heat was getting good, as Livingood pulling away, Cars bounces off the wall, and Speed, he might have broken something on the right front as that car hit the wall pretty hard at the end of lap 1. Livingood leads Cars and Douglas Speed. So from the helicopter, you can see how that corner really is tricky. There's one line through it, and the one line is just, if you don't follow that line, you're probably going to end up in the wall. And still people end up in the wall, because if you're lucky, you can flat-foot it, I've been told. So Livingood rounds the final couple of corners here. 2 laps to go in heat number 2 for the triple defending champion. He won last week in Croft. Hopefully he can make it 2 in a row. It was this race last season that vaulted him to the top of the point standings after that dismal engine failure in Croft. He was vaulted up to the top of the point standings, and he held it until the end of the season. As next week, we go to Island Rally for a return of the endurance rounds. As remember, 2012A, we had Riverside and Island Rally. Those 2 races were an endurance round, as they are a long road course that dirt was thrown on them, and they were told to go racing, as we have a bit of a satellite issue there, but hopefully we are all fixed up. Yes, we are. Rounding the final corner. Final lap for Dylan Livingood in his heat in car number 1. As I noticed that the Revolution Racing team was able to upgrade Chris Wetz's car, but Livingood's still running his trusty his older Evo. As Livingood slides it Did he stall it? No, he didn't. He throws the car into reverse. Tries to get it shifted. Here's Nick Cars. Can Nick Cars take the fight to Living Good? So the defending champion is making a mistake. So we'll see here if Nick Cars can capitalize on this. Living Good's going to push like mad to try and keep him away from him. So through the final couple of corners here, Nick Cars got close because of Living Good's mistake. We've never seen that before. Living Good make a mistake. He's normally one of the more consistent drivers. Even with a little bit of a scare, Dylan Living Good will not be denied. Heat number 2 goes to the defending champion, followed by Nick Cars getting through to, I believe, his second final ever, as Living Good immediately goes to celebrate in car number 1 in the Rockstar Mitsubishi. And here's Douglas Speed, who put a hell of a fight on to try and get the transfer spot on the first lap, but he came up short. But his teammate will join him in the LCQ. So let's actually take a look at that first lap between Douglas Speed and Nick Cars, as Living Good got the whole shot, and then it was all up to these two to battle it out. And it was a cracking little battle we had. We're going to go inside the co-driver's seat of Douglas Speed, car number 31, as he hits the dirt here, and he just drives it in really, really deep into the corner. Nick's Cars, that's okay. Cars is sliding. He had it saved, and Douglas Speed into the wall. So, I think the car was affected by that, although we have yet to get confirmation as to if a part failed or not. And we're going to see what happened to Living Good here. I believe this is the right part. Looks like he just locked up the rears, lost all rear grip after that, and slid the car. He got it refired, threw it in reverse, and obviously he went on to win heat number 2. So heat number 3 now, getting ready to go for these drivers. It's really convenient for Valkenswaard. Most of the drivers get on track during the previous heat to minimize the time that they're sitting there. So here's heat number 3. This will be another 3-car heat. And Brandon Lambert on the outside pole. Cody Erdman will be on pole in car number 82, followed by Keith Sherman. Jeffrey Stanton is the only car not to be racing today. He was running practice, and the engine blew up on that Mitsubishi. He was running a Mitsubishi. The engine blew up on the Mitsubishi, and they don't have a backup engine, so he is unable to participate. But he will get 14th place points. Brandon Lambert on the outside in the Semi-Works Volkswagen. So a Works Citroen, a Works Ford, and a Semi-Works Volkswagen to fight it out in heat number 3. As they're revving them up, and here we go. It's lights out. Away we go. As Lambert gets the whole shot. It's a dead even start with Erdman and Sherman. Erdman trying to take the fight to Lambert. Sherman held back side by side through corner number 1, and it's Erdman sneaking through. Will Lambert get the run on the outside? No, he's drafting him. Why are you drafting him at a rallycross race? I will never know. Erdman bounces off the wall. So does Lambert. Into the dirt right-hander for the first time. Sherman tries to take the fight to Lambert. No, he doesn't. Erdman sideways. Nearly clips Lambert side by side as Sherman goes to the Joker for the first lap here in Heat 3. Lambert sideways. Erdman sideways. Back onto the asphalt. Let's see if Lambert will make and take the fight to Erdman. Siding is Erdman. Can he take the lead? No, he can't. Side by side is Erdman and Lambert. Still at the end of lap 1, Lambert leads at Valkenswaard. Erdman taking the fight, nearly chops his nose off on the 5 car. Cutting the curves is Lambert. That should be okay as he hit the curb unintentionally, it looked like, as Erdman will not give up. Sherman is stuck in the wall. So the Mangled Lemons racing car for the second consecutive week has to get some damage fixed for the LCQ. But this is a cracking race between Erdman and Lambert. He bounces off the wall. He hits Lambert. That was a very nice move by Cody Erdman. Most drivers wouldn't do that, as those two came together last season here, and Erdman kept going. So he let him by. And now Lambert, will he get some payback even though Erdman sat for him? They pass Sherman, who has climbed out of the car. Lap number 2 will be in the books momentarily, and it's going to be at the line. Erdman this time by about the same margin. Lambert's not giving up. The bonus point's important. The 2012 A champion versus the... He's not a champion, but he could be. I was trying to think of a word. Too excited currently, and maybe Lambert has burned the Cooper tires off of that car. I believe he's on Cooper's. Maybe I'm mistaken. No, he's on Pirelli's, excuse me. Bridgestone's for Erdman, Pirelli's for Lambert, Michelin's for Sherman. So 3 different tire suppliers as Lambert takes the Joker. Erdman has not, I don't believe, as he's going to start the final lap here, and I believe the fight may have ended between Cody Erdman and Brandon Lambert. We're going to check lap times here. 43.852, fastest lap by Cody Erdman. 45.180 by Brandon Lambert. That was the Joker lap from Erdman. Final lap here, or the Joker lap from Lambert, I should say, excuse me. Final lap for heat number 3, and this is made up for the processions that was the first 2 heats. A cracking race. Lambert bounces it off the wall again, and we're going to see Erdman has taken his Joker. Lambert has taken his Joker as well. As Erdman sliding the car, gets on, that might be a bit iffy, got 2 wheels onto the asphalt. As they pass Sherman's stranded car again, out of the final corner, it's going to be 2 Citroens on the front row so far. Erdman wins heat 3, Lambert second. Incredible battle between the 2 drivers, as Erdman now, maybe Lambert's not happy, but Erdman celebrating while he can. And if it was up to me, we'd be reviewing that entire first 2 laps. But let's take a look at the first lap, definitely. And then we're going to use that same shot and see what happened to Keith Sherman. So, getting ready here. The drivers are off the line. Lambert got the whole shot, but Erdman got through the gears better from the helicopter, side by side into turn 1. Sherman tried to do an outer line, but he missed the turn in. Lambert was very nice and didn't hit the gas to spin Erdman as they're battling here, entering the dirt for the first time. Unexpected grip change. They bump each other. That helps Erdman turn, but Lambert gets the drive off the corner, and nearly beaten and banging are those 2. As Erdman runs it wide, Lambert gets the grip in the middle of the corner. The Volkswagen has incredible grip in the middle of the corner compared to the Citroen. As these 2 are battling, and let's see if Sherman, oh wow! Hard into the wall. And there's their battle at the end of the first lap. Lambert by a bumper as it would be reversed for Erdman's favor in the next lap. So heat number 4 now. Getting ready to go. As we have 4 drivers in this heat. This is the first heat that we have 4 drivers in. As the other 3 heats had 3 drivers. So as the drivers are rounding their way through the infield here. So here's Josh Mertz in car number 81, who is in this heat. Will his losing streak continue? If he doesn't win today, next week, or next week at Island Rally, 2 days after Island Rally, it would be a full year since this driver had last visited the top step of the podium. That is St. Eustache 2012C. As a bitter winless streak for the 2012B champion. And rumor emerging from the paddock right before this race that he's not exactly agreeing with his Citroen team over the lack of success. So we'll keep you posted on asntv.us as to what is going on. Here's the grid. It's Wetz on pole, Kraus in the junior Citroen, Caleb Paul makes a return on his private Subaru, and then it is Josh Mertz in the Works Citroen. Now these 4... this is going to be a cracking race. Caleb Paul, one of the fastest drivers. Mertz, the 2012B champion. Wetz, the runner-up in 2012B. Let's see what happens. We're revving them up for heat number 4, and it's lights out. Away we go. Off the line, Caleb Paul is going to get squinched by the 2 Citroens, and around he goes off the line. Off the front bumper of Jacob Kraus. Kraus will stop and let him go. Side by side will be Wetz with Mertz. Mertz lets him through. So, warning to Jacob Kraus from race control to not do that again. That was very bad. Josh Mertz dives it in on Chris Wetz. He slides the car. Wetz slides it as well. Who takes the Joker on the first lap? Mertz will in car number 81. Caleb Paul has recovered the car. For the most part, Mertz slides into Wetz. So Wetz gets hit into the embankment off of that Joker. You'll see that all day long, how drivers the merge from the Joker is incredibly tricky, and at the end of lap 1, it's going to be Josh Mertz who's leading at Valkenswaard, followed by Chris Wetz, which is odd because Wetz is one of the fastest drivers here. He's won 4 of the 6 races here, I do believe. So he knows what he's doing. Caleb Paul is in 3rd, and Jacob Kraus has been given another warning by race control, although I'm not sure of what it was. I believe it was cutting the track. So lap times, 47.56 Mertz, 48.42 Wetz, 52.46 Paul, a minute 1.609 for Kraus. So at the end of lap 2, 43.656 Mertz, 43.560 Wetz. And a 43.455 for Caleb Paul. You can tell Caleb is quite mad at what is happening here. So we're on lap number 3 of heat number 4, and Mertz is leading. I don't think he's ever... he's won a heated Valkenswaard, but he's never finished higher than 2nd. This is not exactly the best track for him. Wetz to the Joker now in car number 2. Caleb Paul in 3rd. He will be sent to the LCQ if he cannot catch Chris Wetz or Mertz. Rounding the final corner, white flag for the 81 car for the Citroen Total Red Bull World Rallycross team driver versus the Revolution Racing driver. These two teams, the juggernauts of the NASA Rallycross Challenge, Revolution Racing, the Quadruple Works Constructors Champions, 2012A, 2012C, 2013A, 2013B, and the MRT squad, which is now Citroen, 2012B champions when they drove Subarus. Lack of success in the Citroens might see a manufacturer change, but we will see what happens there. Final couple of corners for the 81 car. He's really good at winning heats, but he always messes up in the first turn or first lap of the final. We'll see what happens today, but currently Mertz is victorious in heat number 4, and it'll be 3 Citroens on the front row with Dylan Livengood as Mertz impersonates Ken Block, doing a little gymkhana there on the front straightaway, and transferring as well will be Chris Wetz in car number 2. Caleb Paul quite angry with himself as Jacob Kraus will park the car in car number 83. The LCQ time now. And the drivers in the LCQ, Jacob Kraus, Douglas Speed, Yao Paulo, Caleb Paul, and I believe Tristan Hagenstein off the top of my head, but I may not be correct. Jacob Kraus, Yao Paulo, Caleb Paul, Keith Sherman, Douglas Speed. That's your LCQ here, as cars are on track. 3 laps, you have to take the Joker once, and by looks of the grid, it's going to be Douglas Speed, Yao Paulo, Keith Sherman, Caleb Paul, and Jacob Kraus gets to pick his gate on the back row of the grid. So here we go. Getting ready for the LCQ. The top 2 advance through to the final, but no bonus points are given. It's lights out. Away we go. This is going to be a scramble into turn number 1. Douglas Speed gets a good start. Caleb Paul, side by side they are. Keith Sherman alongside Jacob Kraus into corner number 1. Kraus looked for the middle. He didn't. Speed runs it wide. He opens the door for Keith Sherman. Caleb Paul through the middle. Wow, we've never seen that. And to the lead in turn 2 goes Caleb Paul. Douglas Speed is in 2nd. Sherman battling him. Yao Paulo battling with Jacob Kraus. Speed hit the wall. Gives a position up to Keith Sherman and his teammate Yao Paulo to the Joker. Goes Paul, and contact between the teammates, Sherman and Paul. Through the Joker. Douglas Speed and Jacob Kraus battling. Yao Paulo turned off the front bumper of his teammate. And let me catch my breath, but we have 2 laps to go in the LCQ, and you have to be talking fast. Keith Sherman in 2nd. Douglas Speed, Jacob Kraus, Yao Paulo. That's your running order. Sherman pulling away 2 seconds faster than Keith Sherman with that incredible move through the middle in turn 1. So Sherman losing ground. Kraus is in third, but he's banging off the wall, trying to push and get to the final. Radio communication on Citroen. Mertz is telling him, slow down, quit worrying, and Kraus isn't answering. So maybe Kraus turned off his radio. We don't know. Into the wall goes Kraus again. He's pushing way too hard to try and get into the final. And Sherman around. He saved it. He's onto the asphalt. That's okay. You just got to get back on as soon as you can. But this opens the opportunity for Kraus. It's going to be the white flag for Caleb Paul in car number 7 to get through to the final. Kraus sees it. He's smelling blood. He tastes blood. He wants to get through to his first final ever in the Citroen Junior car, but I don't think it's going to happen as Sherman is pulling away. Sherman ran a 47.7, Kraus a 46.3, as I believe Douglas Speed has retired from the LCQ, so he will get 13th place points in car number 31. But we will see here. Yao Paulo is, as Jacob Kraus, being told to park. So Kraus is parking, and it's going to be Caleb Paul winning the LCQ. So he will be the first driver through. Keith Sherman will be your 10th and final driver in the final race for the Dutch RallyCross Grand Prix. Then it's going to be Yao Paulo in 11th place, the last car running. And I hate to sound biased, but these two Brazilians, first ever race in the NASA RallyCross Challenge, they did a fantastic job. Paulo 11th, Kraus will be 12th, and Douglas Speed will be 13th in the LCQ. So let's take a look at that start, as I've screamed a lot in my commentary career, but I've never almost coughed my lungs out because of a start like that. As Caleb Paul was 4th in the middle of that corner, and he came out in the lead. So let's take a look. Douglas Speed there in the 31. Paul, Kraus bumps him, Speed runs it wide, so there he is. Pause it right there. He is currently hitting the wall, and he's going to be sent to 4th. Hits the wall, Sherman slides in, he sneaks through the middle, and he says, thank you, Keith Sherman, I'm going to take this lead now. And that was an ambitious move if I've ever seen one. So, once again, your LCQ order of the drivers that did not transfer: Yao Paulo, Jacob Kraus, Douglas Speed. Remember, Jeffrey Stanton, 14th place points because he practiced, but he could not race as the engine failure proved bad, as they did not have a replacement engine for that Mitsubishi private team, very low budget. So we're getting ready for the 10-car final, excuse me. And consider that the field was 9 cars last week, and we have 10 cars in the final alone. That's not a very pretty sight for Dylan Livingood. You see 3 Red Bull logos and a Rockstar logo. But anyway, Luke Fleming, Dylan Livingood, Cody Erdman, Josh Mertz, followed by Tristan Hagenstein, Nick Cars, Brandon Lambert, Chris Wetz, Caleb Paul, Keith Sherman. Your 10-car field for an 8-car final race. Here for the NASA Rallycross Challenge, the second round of the 2013 season. Here we go. We're revving them up as round number 2 is go. It's lights out. Away we go. Off the line. Whole shot to Livingood. Side by side is Erdman and Mertz. 3 wide. Lambert with Fleming and Wetz into corner number 1. Livingood's going to hold up Erdman. Flying around the outside is Mertz. Can he take the fight? He does. He gets through turn 1. Livingood second. Erdman's third. Side by side, Lambert and Wetz. He sees the position. Single file so far. In the dirt for the first time. Mertz leading. Livingood dives it in. Turns around is the 81. Mertz turned around once again. Livingood's leading now to the Joker. Will be Mertz, and he's going to be angry, of course. Don't turn that 81 radio on, please. Livingood, cars flying somehow over the Joker. Livingood leads. Erdman second. Wetz third. Lambert fourth. 5th Paul. 6th Hagenstein. 7th Mertz. As Mertz diving in on Hagenstein. Contact made at the end of lap 1. Livingood leads. So now Livingood trying to pull away. Laps currently 47.4. Livingood leading. Fastest car on the track. Erdman runs it wide. Wetz tries to take the fight to him. He can't do it. Lambert's 4th. 5th is Paul. 6th is Mertz. Mertz dives it in. He's going to dive it in on this corner. This is not going to end very well. 3 wide in the corner. Who makes it? And that didn't end very well. As Lambert, Paul, Mertz moves up to 4th. To the Joker goes Livingood in car number 1. So, 2 laps in, Livingood leads. Erdman, Wetz, Mertz is up to 4th. and Paul is probably not very happy with the 81. So can the Citroen take the fight to the Revolution cars that he's sandwiched by, or what will happen? The Works teams are up front. Revolution Citroen, and the private Subaru. And the other two Works cars are battling it out amongst themselves. So Erdman is second, coming under pressure from Chris Wetz in car number 2. Erdman was once car number 2, and he won in it. And I don't believe... He has one on the 82, never mind, excuse me there. To the Joker goes the one on the 82. It's going to be Wetz and Mertz leading on the non-Joker cars. Caleb Paul comes out of the Joker, and contact is made between him and Mertz. So Mertz is hitting the wall, and this is not very good for him as he's more angry in the car. So, end of lap number 3. Livingood leads in car number 1, followed by Erdman, followed by Wetz, followed by Paul, Lambert, Hagenstein, and Mertz has been moved back to 7th place. So he's not going to be very happy, and Tristan Hagenstein doesn't want to cede a position away as contact between Erdman and Livingood, as that was really strange, and the defending champion is around. So Livingood backs it up, hits Lambert, Mertz squeaks by, so does Hagenstein. Fleming has to pick a lane as to where to go, and now Chris Wetz will filter through to the lead on lap number 4 here at Valkenswaard. Let's reset the order and let me catch my breath for a moment. It's going to be Wetz, Erdman, Paul, Lambert, Mertz, Hagenstein, Livingood, Fleming, Sherman, and Cars. Beginning of lap number 5, halfway through here at Valkenswaard. And this is just starting, just getting good. Wetz, Erdman, the number 2 drivers for their teams, are ahead of the number 1 drivers. Caleb Paul, a privateer for Solstice Racing. He is in 3rd spot. Lambert, the Semi-Works champion from last season, along with Mertz. As the drivers' champions in order, Lambert, Mertz, Livingood, they were in reverse order, in reverse of that order last year on the podium, or last season I should say. So it's not very good for them. Lambert took the Joker and will get by Mertz. That puts Mertz to 4th place, or 5th place, excuse me. End of lap number 5, beginning of lap number 6, and Wetz is pulling away. The gaps currently... Caleb Paul fastest, 43.167. Then it's actually Lambert, excuse me. Then Caleb Paul, 43.171. Wetz, 43.206. Mertz, 43.250, or 253, excuse me. And Erdman, a 43.409. So you can tell Erdman's driving the wheels off the car, trying to get and take the fight to Wetz, but side by side, Erdman and Caleb Paul. And Paul is trying to take the spot, but Erdman's fantastic on the outside, trying to pin him down, make sure he doesn't do anything. At the end of lap number 6, 2 laps to go, will Erdman be able to hold on to the 2nd spot? I am not sure of it, as Paul got the run past Erdman. Can he get it through the chicane? Erdman's not going to budge. Side by side, he got it. 2nd place switch will be Caleb Paul, but he's fighting back. Does Erdman? No, he can't. He can't do it. Does he have the run? Maybe. I'm not sure. As Erdman fighting it to the death to try and get 2nd spot, and he does for the moment. Caleb Paul drives it out of the center of the corner, and he takes it. Beautiful crossover as Erdman goes to the Joker in car number 82. Let's see if they will come together like his teammate with Paul. No. So we're coming to the white flag here at Valkenswaard for Chris Wetz. He has not won since, I believe, 2 seasons ago here. So let's see what will happen for Wetz in car number 2. Paul, Erdman fighting back. They were side by side for a moment. He gives him a bump. Well, Erdman, he's not giving up. Erdman is not giving up. Livingood has self-spun. He lost the position to Fleming. And this battle is the best battle we have between Caleb Paul and Cody Erdman. Erdman's driving like he's, I don't even know, running from Border Patrol. I'm probably going to get fired for that, but oh well. As this is an exciting race, Erdman hit the wall that might have just given up 2nd spot to Caleb Paul. So it's all about this man and Chris Wetz. Some people say he has a really, really tight-knit relationship to this circuit, and I think he does. It's going to be his 5th career victory in the 4th here at Valkenswaard. Chris Wetz wins for Revolution Racing. Caleb Paul 2nd. 3rd is Erdman. 4th, Lambert. 5th, Mertz. 6th will be Luke Fleming for Citroen Jr. 7th will be Dylan Livingood in car number 1. And maybe this will not help him in the championship. Hagenstein is 8th. 9th will be Nick Cars. And you saw Keith Sherman. He spun it off the final corner. He will be in 10th. But Nick Cars will finish in 9th position in the Mangled Lemons Racing, number 35. So the two Revolution boys are burning the house down here at the Valkenswaard circuit, and that will allow us to go into the race results. Well, we already went through the race results, so let's go through the points as the podium ceremonies will begin here. As the United States Anthem playing for Chris Wetz, your victor here today. We already went through the results. The driver points, Living Good is leading points, 32 points. Wetz is in second with 31. Tied are the two Citroen teammates with 29. Hagenstein is in fifth with 26 points. Sixth is Luke Fleming with 24 points. Seventh is Caleb Paul with 23. Brandon Lambert, eighth with 21 points. Keith Sherman is in ninth with 17. 10th place is Jacob Cross with 15 points. 11th place is Nick Cars with 11 points. Tanner Smith, provisional from last week, 7 points in 12th. 13th place is Yao Paulo with 6 points. Adam Simons, 14th. Douglas Speed, 15th with 4 points. And Jeffrey Stanton gets 14th place points due to practicing here today. He has 3 points. The Manufacturers' Championship, Mitsubishi, 41 points over Citroen's 32. Then Ford and Subaru are tied with 26. Volkswagen, 21. The Works Championship, you're going to hear the Japanese anthem from Mitsubishi. Same anthem because of driver and team. Revolution Racing, 63 points. Citroen, 58. Mangled Lemons, 28. That's your Works Constructors Championship. Semi-Works, Citroen Jr. has 39. Volkswagen, 28. And Delicia Race Team, in their first start, they have 10 points. The Privateer Cup, Great Lakes Motorsports, 23 points. Solstice Racing, 23 points with Caleb Paul. ATN Autosport has 5 because of Adam Simons, and Stanton Racing has 3. The Nations Cup, it's a cluster. Canada, Germany, the United States, all tied on 32 points at the top. The Netherlands has 26 points. Norway has 7, and Brazil has 6 points. So as we mentioned, next week is Island Rally and the return of the endurance rounds. And these two drivers take the fight to a track where Chris Wetz ended up barrel rolling and flying out of the forest, and Living Good went into the forest as well off the front bumper of Brandon Lambert. It's all to play for round number 3 of the NASA RallyCross Challenge season here on the Automotive Sports Network. Glad you can join us here. And from all of us here at ASN, hashtag ASNTVUSA, Facebook.com/Automotive Sports Network. We thank you for watching, and so long, everyone. See you next week in Island Rally.